they've now agreed to a head-to-head debate, which in theory could be a lot more intense and demands a lot more criticism on substance.
Let's speak to Krishnan Guru-Murthy, who hosted the first debate of the contest on Channel 4 when there were still 5 candidates in the contest. Krishnan, good to have you with us. Hello.
Hi, Carol.
What do you think tonight's debate is going to be like? A slightly different occasion from that debate that you hosted when, of course, there were still 5 candidates to try to bring in.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be very different because it's just the two of them. I mean, what's going to be really interesting is having cancelled the Sky debate because they were worried about ripping each other to shreds. And they were obviously coming under a lot of criticism internally on the MP's WhatsApp group, asking why are they doing this to each other. They've now agreed to a head-to-head debate, which in theory could be a lot more intense and demands a lot more criticism on substance. And so, I think what's going to be really interesting is whether they do what they've done in a couple of interviews recently, where they refuse to criticize each other and just say, this is what I'm offering, or whether they actually go out and say, well, if Rishi Sunak says Liz Truss is wrong on tax because of X, Y, and Z, I think he's going to have to criticize and attack to some degree. And he's the one who's obviously got to make up the ground because she's very much the favorite. So I think that's what we're all kind of basically looking to see. Will they actually go for each other?
Yeah, I mean, we're describing it as a head-to-head debate, but what we've seen quite often in the past is that the candidates talk to the questioner rather than to one another.
Yeah, I mean, that's always their instinct. And it's quite understandable because often the question comes through the moderator first of all. And the job of the moderator is to try and get them talking to each other. In the Channel 4 debate, I literally had to say to Rishi Sunak, tell Liz Truss, not me, why what she's saying about economics is fairy tale economics in your words. And it was doing that kind of got them engaging with each other. And similarly, when we got Kenny Badenoch criticizing Penny Mordaunt and talking to Liz Truss and saying, tell the truth, Liz, tell the truth. It was because we were having to actually, or I was having to actually say, well, you say this, but they say that. So who's telling the truth here? So it's very much dependent on whether the moderator can get them to engage with each other rather than just the moderator and the television audience.
How much do you think these debates can actually change opinions, can actually swing votes?
I mean, look, it's hard to say, isn't it, who actually changes their minds on these things? But I think they are big occasions. And I think the fact that they are taking place and that Rishi Sunak agreed when he was sort of the favourite and that Liz Truss is still in there now that she's the favourite is significant. And it tells you that they at least think that the membership is not won over on one side or the other. This is a long contest. There's a lot of detail to get into. I mean, so far, let's be honest, it's been quite shallow. The quality of the policy discussion has not been very detailed. Even on tax, it's been pretty sort of broad brush, A-level economics kind of stuff. So there's a long campaign to get into. And so hopefully, as these debates go on, and there are quite a few of them, we will get a little bit more detail. And that is the opportunity for someone to be undone or to win. And so I think at the moment that the fact that that there isn't really a standout winner tells you that these debates are important.
And of course, they will be facing questions from the public, chaired by Sophie Raworth. I mean, the hosting, as you will know, is a pretty tricky task, isn't it? I mean, you got a certain amount of flack during that Channel 4 debate. Some of the Conservatives saying, the candidates can barely get a word in with this biased woke presenter. That was Scott Benton. Do you feel under the pressure, Krishnan?
Not a lot, to be honest. I mean, absolutely no pressure from the candidates' teams themselves. I mean, there were literally one or two critics, and predictably the right-wing press blew it up out of all proportion. I think the Telegraph did a whole piece based on one Tory MP, and then the Times' professional critic had a go at me, which is just kind of nonsense. But I mean, no, I mean, I think in terms of the actual teams themselves, you don't come under a lot of pressure. I mean, they're remarkably hands-off. Certainly in our debate, there was none of what we've seen in previous contests and previous elections, where there was a lot of negotiation over the format of the debate, over how exactly it would work, exactly how, what the role of the moderator would be in relation to the audience, how much follow-up there would be, whether there would be quick fire rounds and all of that kind of stuff. In the past, in debates I've done, I think the first election debate I did was in 2005. I've faced an awful lot of kind of negotiation about exactly how things are going to go. This time round, we had absolutely no pushback at all. We literally sent them an email saying, this is how it's going to work. And we didn't get any questions back really about, or pushback or saying, well, how about this or how about that? And I suspect that's been the case for everybody else as well. Okay. So, no, it's fine. But I mean, obviously you've got a lot to juggle, because you've got to juggle fairness, time, giving each side an equally hard time. So it's a tricky job.
Krishnan Guru-Murthy, really good to speak to you. Thanks so much.